Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. So as you can see, I am obviously in my old background. Well, I've actually swapped my room around, so where my desk used to be is now my lights. Just because I tried to film a makeup tutorial just sitting on the floor with the natural daylight. You know how I said I wanted to do videos like in that style, but doing a makeup tutorial, it just didn't work that way. Like, it just, with the natural lighting, it just didn't look right. Yeah, just wasn't feeling it. So I thought I would get my lights back up, and now that my room is all sorted, I've got my lights up permanently, so obviously it's easier for me to film now. So I am actually doing kind of like a mini review-ish on the new Morphe 350 palette. As you can see, mine is a bit dirty because I've had mine for a few months now. And literally this is the third time using this palette in a video. I haven't really used it like just in everyday life, only when I've been filming. But the first time that I done a review on it, I filmed it and then I uploaded a picture to Instagram, and it actually got reposted by Morphe, which is like insane. I literally dropped my phone when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, because if you know me, you know that I absolutely love Morphe. I love all of their palettes, I love their makeup, so the fact that they reposted me, I was like, oh my god. May not be a big deal to some people, but it's like they have, how many? 5.8 million followers, so it's just nuts to me. So I'll show you the photo now. Ooh, look, there's little old me. How crazy. Are you gonna focus? There's me on Morphe page with 72,000 people. There I am, amongst other amazing artists. That's just weird. But anyway, I filmed this look and I done a bit of a review, and I lost the first part of the footage. And I wanted to do the look again, but then I didn't want to, like, because I only get like one chance in a week to do a video, I didn't want to do like the same look that I've already done. So but yeah, I'm mainly just playing around with the colours and just to see how the palette works, so it's probably quite good the fact that I have used it a few times. I'm just going to show you how I got this look right here, and obviously I'll talk you through what I was doing. I'll just do a talk through just because if I'm not a talk through, I do a voiceover, because otherwise I just end up talking too much when I'm doing it as I go. And also I just wanted to do like a really like full glam. Like, I haven't done a full face like this in so long, and obviously I was saying I wanted to do chill videos, but I kind of like missed doing like this kind of look. So yeah, it's nice to, what's going on with my hair? But it's nice to incorporate different kind of videos onto my channel. So yeah, I hope you liked this look. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you are new here. So if you do want to see how I got this look and a little review at the end, then please keep on watching. Hello everyone, so I've already got my eyebrows and foundation on, and as always I have to go in with an orangey shade. Like, my eyeshadow does not go to plan if I don't do this step. I don't know, I just feel like it makes the eyeshadow blend into the skin better, but because there wasn't like a light enough shade in the Morphe 350 palette, I decided to go in with my JACLYN Hill one, and this is the shade Creamsicle. So I'm just using that on a big white fluffy brush. This is from a Smashbox eyeshadow palette, and I always muck up. As you can see, I'm going through the natural crease of my eye. So back and forth, following the shape of my eye, and then slightly above my crease as well. So now going in with the Morphe 350 palette, and I'm starting off with the first shade in the palette, which is called Universal. With the exact same brush, I'm doing the same thing pretty much. I'm putting that through the crease and slightly above my crease as well. By doing this step, you're just ensuring your darker shades will have something to blend onto later on. So now using my brand new Morphe brush, and this is really similar to a 217 from MAC, but just slightly more dense and still nice and fluffy, so it allows you to kind of pack on the eyeshadow and blend it as you go along. So mixing the two shades together, this is Orb and Flux. They're very, very similar. I didn't know which one to use, so I just mixed them together. And what I'm doing, I'm now starting off by blending that on the outer corner of my eye in circular motions. And once I don't have a lot left on my brush, I start to move that across the natural crease. So I start at the outer corner in circular motions and then work my way across, as I don't want it to be too dark in the inner corner, which is why I start on the outer corner and then work my way. And you just kind of want to add this until you're happy with the intensity. Later on, you don't really see these colours. I didn't know what I was doing, so I always start off with these sort of steps until I have more of an idea of what I'm doing. So again, I'm mixing two together as I didn't want it to be too orange or too red, so I'm mixing Heat and ABLAZ together. My camera does wash the colours out a little bit, so they are a lot brighter than you can see on the camera here. So using the same brush, I'm doing the same technique by starting off on the outer corner and working my way through. And as you can see as well, I always go back in with my first brush. So by doing this and repeating your steps, you're always going to ensure you have a nice smooth edge and a nice gradient effect going on as well. So you haven't got any harsh lines and it just blends the two together. My aloe vera plant just came. 2 seconds. Look at him. Okay, sorry, I was just totally freaking out about the fact that I just got a new aloe vera plant. So I am mixing two shades again because the shade Fire was very, very pink and I didn't want it to come out too kind of vibrant, so I mixed it with the shade Heat. And I switched to a MAC 221 brush as it's slightly smaller, so I feel like it gets in that crease a little bit better. And I find sometimes when you go in with a larger brush, it can apply too much too high, which is why I switched to a smaller brush. So this will just allow you to get more of a precise application, and this is going all the way through the crease, so from the outer corner right the way into the inner corner. And then I did want to darken it up a little bit, and you will see now that it wasn't dark enough. So I kind of mixed between like Chestnut and Brave, I think. I could be wrong, so I will link that down below. But as you can see, considering how dark they are, I find they just weren't grabbing on to my skin, or the other eyeshadows, they just weren't kind of grabbing on, and they just weren't as pigmented as I wanted them to be. So like always, I go back in with my brush. And I do try to build it up, but this is kind of as dark as I could get it. So you will see me in a second dip into the JACLYN Hill palette again, as I wanted it to be a little bit more burgundy and those shades just weren't burgundy enough. So I dipped into the shade JACZ and I used a pencil brush now, as I felt like I needed to pack it on. So because this brush is more dense, you will find it will pack on a lot easier. So once we've got the colour where we want it, so I just pack it on. You don't need to be neat with this. You can then go in with your fluffy brush after. But I find with the Morphe colours, they kind of just blend away. As you can see now, they just sort of like not disappear, but that blended away so easy, which is really nice. But I found the Morphe 3502 palette, the dark colours literally just disappeared when I put them on my eye. The JACLYN one was a little bit better, but it almost kind of didn't stick where I put it. But yeah, it still looks fine. It's kind of a personal preference anyway. So as you can see, once I had that colour there and I blended it out, I felt like I lost a little bit of my orange shade, so I went back in with a clean 217 brush and just buffed over my edges to ensure they were nice and blended. Now you do see me kind of struggle a little bit here, as I wasn't having a great time with this palette, well, with the darker colours. So I went in with a flat shader brush and the shade Brunette, and I started to pack it on, and I found it was kind of going like patchy, and it wasn't grabbing onto the whole kind of outer corner. It was kind of grabbing on areas and then kind of just blending away. If you can, I don't know if you can see that well on camera, but I had to go in with my MAC EMBARK shade as I knew this was really pigmented, and it's quite a dry matte, which I quite like because I feel like it just grabs. If you can see, that did make a little bit more of a difference, but I just find because the shadows are so finely milled, they almost kind of just blend away or blend together, as I was saying. But anyways, let's move on. We got the colour where we want it. I just went back in with my 221 just to blend those colours together. But yeah, you don't have to go in with a separate colour, I just wanted to deepen it up a little bit more. So I kind of knew where I was going with this kind of look now, so I felt like I wanted more of that pink shade to peek through. It doesn't look that pink on camera because the camera does wash it out a little bit, but I went back in with that fire shade on a MAC 217 and I just ran that between the kind of burgundy and orange colour, just to kind of merge the two together and to add a hit of pink as well. So now we are going to cut the crease, and I'm actually using a lip brush. I'll link the number down below as it's great for cutting the crease. And I like to use Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC15. And as you can see now, I'm just really taking my time and I'm following the crease of my eye and slightly above as well. This is only because when I look straight ahead, my crease does fold down slightly. I don't know if that makes sense, folding down, but it does transfer, which is why I go slightly above. And I take that over, just over halfway, and then whatever's left on my brush, I just pat that into the darker colour. And I do repeat this step so the concealer is nice and bright, and it just helps to create more of a crisp line when you kind of layer the concealer. So there wasn't really a lighter shade in the Morphe 3502 palette that I liked, so I went in with the shade Little Lady from the JACLYN Hill palette and the same flat brush, and I just start to kind of pat that over the concealer. I didn't want to swipe it straight away because the concealer was still a little bit wet, so I just literally kind of do it in dabbing motions until I'm happy with the intensity, and I do that kind of just over halfway. We will go in with another colour in a second, so that doesn't matter too much. I just mainly focus it on the inner corner. Now going in with the shade Polished, I'm taking that through the kind of centre of my lid and blending it back into the outer corner. You don't really see this later on, but I do feel like it just gives a pop of rose gold. You don't have to use all of these colours, it's completely up to you. I was just kind of playing around with the palette at this kind of moment, and I'm doing the same thing by patting it all over. I absolutely love this shade, so I just had to kind of try and put it somewhere. This is the shade Ruby, and I just kind of put it where the rose gold shade meets the darker outer corner, just to kind of merge the two together. And I wanted to put this here as well, so when I put my darker colour on, it kind of was just peeking through. Later on you can't see it too much, but I just wanted to see what it looked like anyway, so you don't have to do this step. But it's such a nice, like, fiery cherry shade. It looks a lot more it looks a lot lighter over that rose gold shade, but on its own it's a proper cherry red, so I'll definitely be using that on its own in another tutorial. So I went back in with my MAC 221 brush, and I had a little bit of that JACZ shade, and I just used that to merge those colours together on the outer corner, just so there are no harsh lines and just to deepen up the crease, as I felt like I lost a bit of that colour there. So you'll see now that I went in with my foundation and just finished off putting my powder and foundation on, and I always do this step once I've finished my foundation, as I feel like it just merges the eyeshadow into my skin. So I go in with that Creamsicle shade again with a MAC 224 brush, and I just run that all the way around the edges just to kind of slightly wing it out a little bit more and just to blend it through one last time. So now I'm going in with those exact same shades with a pencil brush underneath my eye, and with that burgundy shade as well. So I'm just repeating the steps on the bottom lash line exactly the same as what I done in the crease. And you will see in a minute, I went in with that fire shade, I think it's called, and I blended it down just a little bit too low. I didn't think it was going to be this pigmented, and I thought it was just going to be a wash of colour, and you can see now my face, I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck. But yeah, it was just a bit too low for my liking. So you can see what I done is went in with my translucent powder and a sponge, and I literally pressed it right underneath, and that just faded it away a little bit. And also it cleans it up. This little trick was from JACLYN Hill, and it just cleans up your under eye. It did make it a little bit matte, but like, it doesn't matter too much. Once you put Fix Plus on, it was completely fine. So now I'm going in with the shade, I think this is Beam, I can't remember, but it's the shade from the JACLYN Hill palette, and I'm just highlighting my brow bone. Yeah, it's definitely Beam, and I'm using a MAC 242 brush to do this, and I also repeat that step on the inner corner as well. So because I knew I was going in with false lashes, I wanted to do a thin line of black eyeliner, and I'm using, I think this is BRUSHBLACK Brushstroke Liner by MAC, and I didn't want to do a wing, so I decided to kind of do like a smudgy wing. So I went in with the liner, and then back in with a black eyeshadow, and then again back in with the black liner. So I kind of just build it up on the outer corner. And the black eyeshadow that I'm using is Noir by Anastasia Beverly Hills, as it does not fail me. It's so pigmented. So I just do it really roughly, as you can see here, but I do go back in with my MAC 221 brush and that JACZ shade just to blend the kind of colours together, as I felt like it looked kind of a bit harsh, like too much of like a jagged line. So yeah, I just blend the two together, so it's nice and seamless. That's completely up to you. You don't have to apply the black if you don't want to, and I did go in with black kohl liner in my waterline. So now to warm up the skin, I'm using my MAC Give Me Sun to give a little bit of a contour, and to also highlight my cheekbones, I'm using Champagne Pop by BECCA. Almost forgot that then. I just wanted to be super glam and super glowy, so I just applied shitloads of highlighter, and I also applied that to the forehead as well. And I always go in with Fix Plus after this step, as I find it just kind of merges the highlighter into your skin so it doesn't look like it's sitting on top. And I love to layer my highlight on my brow bone. So as you saw earlier, I went in with the shade Beam, and then I always go in with Champagne Pop over the top to tie everything together, and it just gives a really nice kind of gold peachy highlight. So it's not, I find Beam is a bit white on its own, so by doing that it just kind of tones it down a little bit. So again, I'm going back in with that Creamsicle shade and just buffing that underneath the eye, as I felt like it didn't look very blended. And yeah, that's about it for the eyes. I'm just going to apply lashes in a second. I'm using the, I think I used the Eyelure lashes. I don't know the number, so I will have the number in the description box below. Obviously you don't have to go in with lashes, you can always just wear mascara if you feel more comfortable. To apply the lashes, I always leave the glue to get a little bit tacky, as that way they won't kind of slip around, and I just drop them from the top and then use tweezers to apply the corners. For my lips today, I am going in with Boldly Bare Lip Liner by MAC, and I'm outlining my lips, and I'm slightly overdrawing as well to make them look a little bit more plump. And I knew I was going to go in with a really nude lip, so I just wanted to do this step so it didn't look like foundation lips. It does come out really light on camera, but it looked a little bit darker in person, but yeah, oh well. You can obviously go in with any lip colour that you would like. I'm using the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in, I don't know what colour, I will link below. Yeah, because the eyes were quite dark and dramatic, I didn't want to take away and do anything that will clash, but it's completely up to you. That is pretty much the look finished. I'm sorry this video is so long. I hope you liked the look. Please let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned for a mini review at the end. But if you don't, if you're still watching, thank you, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye! Hey, I'm back. I forgot I put more cheek colour on. I totally forgot this step. I just mixed Stay Pretty blush and Cheeky bronze from MAC for the cheeks, just to add a little bit of colour. And I promise, that's the last step. I never wear blush, but I just felt like this look kind of needed a bit of colour on the cheek. And then Cheeky bronze is a really nice peachy highlight. I promise you that is everything. And I now set it with Fix Plus. And yeah, that's it. Bye! Okay, so that is the video finished, guys. I really hope you liked the look, but do let me know if you do want to see any more looks using this palette, and any other makeup looks, just leave them down below. So I'll just obviously give you a quick little review on what I thought of the palette. As I said, I have had it a few months, so it has been used, and I dug my brush into it accidentally, and if you can see, one came unstuck. There's the eyeshadow, and it just came unstuck. I mean, I'm not too much of a, like, I don't know, I'm not that bothered. I was going to email them, but I just couldn't be asked with the whole faff, and yeah, well, I can stick it back in myself, but I kind of, because it is so cheap, I think this was £23, this one, and it's kind of like, you get what you pay for. At the end of the day, you're getting 35 colours for £23. So yeah, it is really good value for money, but you can tell that the packaging is a little bit cheaper. The packaging is really nice and like slick. I love that they've changed the logo, so in that aspect it's really nice, but it does feel a little bit cheap with how they are packaged, but I'm not too bothered about that. Anyway, a bit annoying, but oh well. As for the formula of the eyeshadows, I absolutely love like all of the kind of like lighter matte shades. They blend so smoothly, and they blend in together really nice. I do find if you do start to go in with the darker shades, and you've already got some of the lighter ones, on your eye, they kind of like blend together. I find because they're so finely milled and so powdery, they really do just kind of like merge in together, which is a good thing, but not always the case, because sometimes you really want to get that pigment there and you don't want it to just blend away as soon as you put it on. You might have seen in the video that I was trying to pack on these darker colours, and they, as soon as I put my brush on there to blend them out, they kind of just disappeared. So I did have to go in with a couple of my MAC eyeshadows, because I know if you compare them to MAC eyeshadows, you will kind of notice that MAC, theirs aren't as finely milled, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you find they're slightly drier, so they're still pigmented the same, but they tend to kind of grab onto the brush a little bit more, and they kind of stick to your eye, which is, I don't know, it's a personal preference, but I do find with darker colours it is better for them to be slightly less powdery, although it's a great, you know, it's great for an eyeshadow to be quite powdery because it's easier to blend, but I kind of find with darker colours, you know, you need that kind of, you need it to grab onto your eye, and I found with these darker colours they just weren't doing that. So I did go in with my JACLYN Hill palette with a couple of the shades, but again, similar sort of formula. So yeah, if you love sort of really finely milled and powdery eyeshadows, then you'll probably love it, but I found they weren't, you know, as dark, or but I found obviously they're not as dark as they look. I didn't go in with the black, I just ended up going with another black that I knew that I liked. But yeah, overall I absolutely love the eyeshadows. All of like the satin shimmery ones are so creamy, really pigmented, they almost feel like wet. There is a couple that I didn't really like that I've used before, which is this one here, which is nice when you kind of swatch it, but it's almost a bit chunky and a bit crumbly. When I've used it, it's a bit crumbly. But yeah, for the price, it's absolutely amazing. If you love warm colours, you're gonna love this one. Although I do find with Morphe palettes, there are a lot of the same shades. Not exactly the same, but I find they're so similar, like these two. And like these ones down the bottom, they're almost so similar that you could have just put another colour in there, like maybe some light matte ones. I don't know, it's just my opinion. I don't know if you guys think that as well, but I just thought, why, because there's so many, maybe they're just putting them in there for the sake of it, but I thought, why waste the space when you could have put another colour in there? I don't know, let me know what you think. If you've tried this palette, then let me know your thoughts in the comments. But yeah, that is pretty much everything. Let me know if you want to see any more tutorials using this palette, and yeah, let me know your thoughts in the down below in the comments down below. And that is pretty much everything. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and please, I don't know where I'm going with this. Hope you liked it, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye!